or so. I should tell the folks who are watching from this area right now that you probably have been through a lot of storms. If you've lived there for more than 20 years or so, you've seen one after another. This is likely to be the strongest storm you have ever experienced if you're located near Sabine Pass, Port Arthur, Beaumont, Lake Charles, Cameron. So even though you've been through really bad hurricanes, this is likely to be the worst. In fact, the wording from the National Hurricane Center on storm surge is unsurvivable. They're saying that if you are in the path of this storm surge and you do not leave, it is not going to be survivable. Just to give you an idea of how strong the storm is becoming. This is a look at the satellite. You can see all the strong thunderstorms wrapping around the center. Now, watch the eyes becoming more and more clear, still a teeny bit ragged. Once it's not ragged anymore, and that'll happen in the next 3-4 hours, once it's a concentric circle, it's off to the races. It will be a Category 4 hurricane with winds over 130 miles an hour. You can kind of see the eye right there. Rainfall not quite moving in yet, but some of the heavy bands about to move in. Hurricane warnings in effect, storm surge warnings in effect as well. This is the latest track from the National Hurricane Center, almost immediately becoming a Category 4. That will happen late this afternoon, early this evening. Look at that. Winds 145 miles an hour. Now, it's very important to note there's a big difference between storms that are weakening at landfall and storms that are strengthening. Take a storm with the same wind speeds. A storm that is strengthening is going to produce a lot more damage because it has that upward momentum. And because this is a new storm, it's only been a hurricane for, a couple of days, and it's only been a strong hurricane for a couple of hours now. It is in its intensifying phase. It's very unlikely it's going to weaken much before landfall. Landfall happens around midnight or just after that. As a Cat 4, as it moves onshore, devastating storm surge, devastating winds. You need to be in your safe place very, very soon. Then the storm moves up through the Mississippi Valley and weakens as we head into Thursday and again on Friday to a tropical storm and eventually to a tropical depression. There's a look at the future radar, and you can see how circular the appearance of the storm becomes, these really strong bands on the northern side. And as this comes ashore, if you're along the path or just east of the path, that's where the worst storm surge is going to be. That's where the worst winds are going to be.
So, Jeff, I know we've talked to you in the past about this. Can you perhaps give us some insight into how climate change is playing a part in these hurricanes and also the wildfires that we're seeing out west?
Yeah, so climate change is playing a part in both of these. Climate change doesn't cause hurricanes during hurricane season. We have them anyway. Climate change doesn't cause fires. We have them anyway. The fires were ignited by lightning. However, climate change sets the stage. We had a heat wave, one of the worst ever in the West, 130 degree temperature in Death Valley. We've had a long...
This morning, the coastal cities of Texas on edge as Hurricane Laura looms just hours from making landfall.
There will be a lot of devastation wreaked upon Texas as the storm sweeps through.
Governor Greg Abbott warning residents to brace for a possible Category 4 hurricane, increasing the counties under a disaster declaration to nearly 60.
Don't know where we're going, but we're going to get away, though.
Laura's wind speeds expected to top triple digits, which could help fuel a potentially life-threatening 13-foot storm surge. The warning to residents, don't waste time, get out now.
Some people may choose to stay at home, and I think that kind of scares me because we don't ever know what these storms could possibly
I want to start
bring.
with taking a live look right there. You can see it at the satellite of that powerful storm barreling through the Gulf, now a Category 3 hurricane, but rapidly gaining strength and expected to become a Category 4 storm in just a matter of hours.
And also another image to show you now, this one from the International Space Station. This shows you just how massive this storm is. Evacuation orders are in effect for more than 500,000 people along the Gulf Coast.
Our team is on the ground in the expected storm zone. Ginger leads us off in Port Arthur, Texas, where they're expecting damaging winds at over 100 miles an hour. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, George. In less than 18 hours, we should be in the eye wall of a major hurricane here along the Texas and Louisiana state line. It's about 300 miles or less than that south and east of my position right here. And you can see that beast on satellite. The eye forming, the rapid intensification.
Mandatory evacuations.
If you're going to stay, you know that beginning tomorrow, for sure by noon, don't dial 911. No one's going to answer. Okay? And you are on your own.
Here in Port Arthur, people aren't taking any chances. With a population of more than 50,000 people, the goal is to get everyone on board these buses before Laura hits.
The mission complicated by COVID-19. Those leaving town checked for fever and given a wristband. Each person scanned, before boarding buses to shelters.
You've seen Rita, you've seen Ike, you've seen Harvey.
All of it.
You're not waiting for this one.
No, it's time to go.
Others doing whatever they can. Newlyweds Chris and Carol Ann Higgins hoping sandbags are enough to save their first home.
Cover up the doors, all our openings, put these around there, and hopefully just prepare
Many
for the
people
flood.
have followed those orders, with some sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic as they left Galveston, where local businesses boarded up windows in preparation for the worst. Experts are predicting up to 15 feet of storm surge in some areas, and water could push as far as 30 miles inland.
So rapidly intensified overnight to a Category 3, expected to be Cat 4 today. 130, actually it's now up to 145 miles per hour is what is expected to do. So this is a mid-range Category 4 hurricane. You'll see here, forecast does have it a Category 4 by 7 o'clock tonight, just off the coastline and making landfall still as a Category 4 hurricane now, right across the state of Texas and Louisiana border. We're looking at not only winds of potentially 145 miles per hour, but now a new storm surge of 15 to 20 feet. That would be higher than most one-story homes. Just to give you a perspective of what we're looking at with this here as it continues to work its way northward there by 7 a.m. on Thursday, right over top of Toledo Bend, and still a hurricane with 85-mile-per-hour winds. We'll see the surge coming onshore. Already is here across southeast Louisiana, seeing the water continuing to come up. The storm will quickly dissipate and work its way to the north and kind of work its way back in the Atlantic Ocean, where it may try to get tropical characteristics again and come back to a tropical storm. We'll have to wait then and see. But and the thing is, with the storm coming onshore here and the significant surge, we're going to see that onshore flow continuing for a couple of days after the storm is gone. Once it's up here near St. Louis, we're still going to see that onshore flow